Hey everybody, welcome to episode 25 of the Go Get Outside podcast. This is your host, Jason Milligan. On today's show, we will be talking to Francisco Camberos, also known as Functional Fitness Freak. You can find him online under that name. Maybe you've come across some of his photos before. He and I got together in Chatsworth Park North one night to talk about his hoodlum past and how he transitioned from a life of running from dogs to the functional fitness freak that he is now. If you don't know what functional fitness is, don't worry, we'll explain it shortly in the show. Quick note before I get to the interview. During our conversation, we refer to a prusik as a bend. Yes, I know that a prusik is actually a hitch, so you don't need to email me about that. You can email me about other things, but you don't need to email me about that. I don't want to take up too much time, so let's go talk to Francisco Camberos about fitness, running from dogs, and salami sponsorships.
My name is Francisco. I am 31 years old. I am a creative director at an advertising agency, and I am a functional fitness freak.
Define functional fitness freak for us.
Well, first off, functional fitness, what that means to me is training dynamic movements that contribute to you being better at life, right?
Right, so it's not about bulking up, it's about developing your muscles so that they're useful and efficient.
Exactly, right? So one can be super like aesthetic and look amazing, but you're kind of useless when you're getting chased because you're going to have zero endurance, or you're getting chased and you have to hop a fence, or you're getting chased by a dog, for example.
Do you
right?
get chased a lot? When you were a kid, were you being chased all over town?
When I was a kid, I got chased, I think, it really comes from my childhood. Like that's where it comes from. As a kid, I would always get in trouble because I was always climbing stuff. I was climbing on top of stuff. I would build ramps for my bikes. I would just like go on skateboards and just do all kinds of crazy, kid type of stuff. It's funny because like my mom would ground me by making me stay inside and watch TV, whereas like my brother they would make him go outside. So it was terrifying for both of us. Yeah, that's really where it kind of comes from.
So let's go back and since we already naturally fell into talking about your childhood. Yeah. So where did you grow up? What was your childhood like? Did you get into all the things you're into then, or did that come later?
It definitely didn't come until later in my life. So I was born in Mexico, in Tijuana, and I was there till I was about 11 years old.
So you saw a lot of donkeys painted to look like zebras.
But that was on the other side of. I lived on this part called La Mesa, which is like it's really close to San Diego, and you could actually see it. It's where there's a white statue. I don't know if you've ever been down to TJ. There's this huge statue.
I have, and I saw a bunch of donkeys painted to look like zebras, and then they were charging people. I mean, I only went there for like one day. Sure, and my experience in TJ was probably not very accurate to your childhood, which was pharmacy, restaurant, bank, strip club, intersection, and then repeat that. And then like every other block, there was a donkey painted to look like a zebra and somebody charging to take your photo.
I could imagine the exact place where you were at. And that's on like the north side. But, so it was growing up there. It was a very humbling childhood. I had a bike. There was a lot of mud. The roads weren't built yet, so whenever there was rain, we'd be in the mud, and we would play with like anything we could find. We would make our bikes go down like these mud hills, and just things like that kind of just made me kind of wild, as I would like to kind of categorize it as. Once I came to the United States, I lived in I guess it's like the East LA area, and then from there I lived in Long Beach. And that's where my mom used to play volleyball. She said I ruined her career. Sorry, Mom.
Good job. It's not your fault you were born.
I know, right?
I'm sure you've reminded her of that.
I need to. That's essentially where I think things kind of started for me. My mom put me in all kinds of organized sports, football, baseball, soccer. Even though I didn't like it, it made me active. What I really liked was skateboarding with my friends, riding bikes with my friends, rollerblades with my friends, and just doing things in what was a community, and just having like crazy fun outside.
How old were you when you moved to the States?
I was 11.
So how big a culture shift was that for you?
You know, it wasn't too bad because I learned English through my brother. My brother stayed home a lot, and
So you knew all the curse words.
I definitely knew other cursors.
It's funny because so a lot of people don't know this about me. I'm half Cuban, and I grew up around
really?
a lot of Cuban people back in Louisiana when I was growing up. And same thing, I knew all the Cuban curse words, like very early on.
Now, do you speak a little bit of Spanish?
Not as well as I should these days, but I used to speak a lot more when I
Okay.
was younger, and I spent a lot more time around Spanish people.
Nice.
I spend a lot of time around Spanish people now that speak English.
Oh,
as
there you
opposed
go.
to when I was young, I should be around Spanish people speaking Spanish.
Man, that's funny. That's
Yeah,
cool.
but anyway, so you knew all the curse words. Your brother taught you English.
Yeah, he taught me English, and I didn't really feel a transition. It just felt like I was also coming over a lot.
Yeah, I mean, you were right on the border.
Definitely right on the border, and we would come over a lot, and we would tell the immigration people that we were going to Disneyland, and I would stay for like 2 weeks, then I would stay for like 3 weeks, and then one day we just never came back. I applied for permanent residency, and the transition was really smooth, and there wasn't a shock where I didn't know anything or I didn't speak the language or anything like that. So it was pretty smooth.
Yeah, despite what a lot of people would maybe want Americans to think, Mexico isn't that different a country. It's not really this third world mess that maybe people would like to represent it as.
Right. You know, it's really not. And again, I'm not gonna try to defend Tijuana and for the image that it has. You know, it's a destination, right? People from South America, from people from all the way south, deep in past Mexico, come this way to get to the United States, right? I don't want to make this a political podcast, but you know,
That's all right. I've had other people on that podcast who somehow start talking about 9/11 or George Bush, so it happens.
But you know,
You have the right to defend your country.
let's do it. Well, technically, this is my country now.
No, you get two.
I do have dual citizenship.
That's right. So you get two countries,
yeah,
man.
cool, sweet, got it.
So if this one falls apart, you
I have a chance
to
to go back. Well, I don't know if we can fix that one.
You can talk the Mexican government into building a wall to keep the Americans
I know,
out.
right? You keep them out, you know. But you know, it's a tough place. You know, I came out of it, and I'm happy I did.
So you spend a lot of time running from people and dogs.
People and dogs, you know. When I was in high school and I was, you know, hitting those like 18-year-olds. When I graduated, I was 18. I was a bad kid, you know. I was like running around, painting walls, doing graffiti and stuff. And I would run a lot. But, you know, it was one of those things that I ended up leaving behind because of an incident that I had where I was almost getting caught. And I said, if I get caught, like I'm just going to like not hate myself, but just like be very disappointed in myself because of all the efforts that my parents did to get me over here.
You're going to feel like you squandered the opportunities they gave you.
Right.
Yeah.
That I just threw it all away. And so that day happened and I got away and I haven't like, I just like did a 180 and I just started doing good.
So what was that incident?
So I was painting this billboard right off the 405.
And were you painting like a penis on somebody's face, or was it something
You
more
know,
artistic than that?
It was, I wouldn't say it was artistic. It was just my name that I was just, you know, writing at places. And I saw the cops and I was pretty high tech. I had walkie-talkies and my brother, it was New Year's Day. I actually remember it. It was New Year's Day. And my brother was at the corner, and the walkie-talkies were these cheap walkie-talkies. They were probably like $30 walkie-talkies. And so...
Did they come out of like the kids department, like Toys R Us
you know,
walkie-talkies or something?
They might have. They had like the plastic with like the green like top. It was just super cheap.
I think I know the ones. Some of the like old gray ones.
Yeah.
I think I know the ones you're talking
They're super
about.
cheap. They're probably only meant for like 20 feet distance.
Right,
you know?
right.
So I start seeing like this cop go really slow on the freeway, and it trips me out. I look around, and there's like 3 of them, and they're circling around the area. And so I start signaling my brother, but he's not picking up.
Because he's 21 feet away.
Because Yeah, 1 foot over. So I end up dropping all of my paint and sliding. I mean, billboard is probably like 30, 40 feet high. Like I ended up sliding on this like I-beam bar all the way down. I hurt my ankle a little bit. I jumped a fence into this like canal and I just book it and I just run as fast as I can. Luckily, I knew the neighborhood. And so I'm going through a neighborhood, going through little streets. And I mean, I'm not getting chased like police, police chase. They're trying. I think they're plotting to figure out how to grab me because there was no easy way to get there. They had to either come across or there was this big parking lot, so they couldn't just come walk up to me and grab me. And so I ended up taking off. I ran, and my brother ended up driving over, and I ended up having I was within 20 feet, and I told him I'm back here, and he picked me up, and ever since it changed for me.
And then you turned your life around.
Yeah, I did. I turned my life around.
I'm going to stop painting penises on politicians' faces on billboards. And
I did it. I was doing it before it was cool.
What, turning your life around or painting penises?
Painting penises, man. That's what the kids do nowadays.
Hasn't that been cool since Paleolithic times?
That's true. Yeah. All right. I was inspired.
I'm sure there's some cave paintings that if you really look, they're penises. We think it's like, oh, look at this beautiful bison that that's a penis.
But yeah, so from there I started going to the gym a lot because my brother was always,
you're like, man, I got to be able to run faster than these cops.
My brother was in track, and so he got me into track. And then my brother started doing the gym, like hitting the weights every single.
He's an older brother, I'm assuming?
He's a year older. And so from there, I'm going to the gym, but I've always been like small frame. I think if I would have went to boot camp like my brother's in the Marines, he's like, his arms are like the size of my head. But that's because, he went through the boot camp phase.
Is that how they do in boot camp? They pump you full of steroids?
So my brother comes back from boot camp, and he's like, "Are you going to eat your core?" And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Are you going to eat your core, your apple core?" He said that all the new people, like after he was there, I think it's 3 months, after he was there for like a month or two, that you get so depleted in calories that you eat everything. So a lot of the newbies that were first there were leaving their cores, so they would just go around and eat people's cores. Just as extra meal.
So he's like picking up apple cores and pizza crust.
And everything. But you know what, now when I eat my apples, chicken bones. Now I eat my apples and I eat the whole thing. All that's left is the stem, Cause
why don't you eat that part? That's fiber, man.
That's fiber. That was pretty much my childhood there.
So you started going to the gym a lot after you decided to stop being a hoodlum. And at some point, that transitioned into functional fitness freak. So how did that happen?
All right, so...
And functional fitness freak, you're a sponsored athlete
so
because of that, essentially, right?
I have some companies that send me stuff, and I just take pictures with it, and I create marketing material for companies. My main one that's like super official is OtterBox. So they send me phone cases and protectors and things like that. I take them in the canyon and I abuse it, and it works.
Do they give you any kind of stipulations when they give you things? Or they say, hey, please do this, please do that?
So the reason why I say it's official is because everyone else, and it's not a long list, I probably have like 2 or 3 different other ones. They'll just send me stuff and I'll take a picture and I'll send it to them, that's it. Whereas OtterBox, I actually have a relationship with the marketing department, and they sent me like a contract and like a brand guidelines and all those things so I can follow their brand. So I feel like this one's pretty official.
So like, make sure you're wearing orange in
all
your photos.
Make sure you can see the logo.
Yeah, and then I've looked at a number of those documents. So you've got to specifically have the logo not obscured in certain ways, make sure the logo doesn't appear over this color.
Oh yeah. I turned down. So I'm also part of this like campaign social media influencer thing, and they send me campaigns they send me like 1 or 2 a week or something, and they'll say, oh, there's a campaign that fits your style, and they're kind of it's like an agency almost. And Coca-Cola is one of the toughest one. They're like, the Coke has to be visible, and then the logo has to be blah, blah, blah. And it's just, I was like, I declined that one. Most of my stuff is very integrated. Like on my Instagram right now, I use this jacket, and I took this photo, and it's like...
This jacket is a blue Columbia jacket.
It's a blue Columbia jacket. You can find it. No, no.
Yeah, what model number is that jacket?
It's an R2. No, and it's not like... it's not like me holding a Snickers and saying like, I'm so strong because of this Snickers bar. Like.
But that is partly why you're strong, is from Snickers bars, correct?
You know that a good source of protein, and it keeps your metabolism. But yeah, so functional fitness freak. After doing countless hours at the gym, I realized that it wasn't working for me. I start doing triathlons with one of my buddies, and I end up getting a knee injury, and I find CrossFit. CrossFit helps me rehab it by doing a ton of squats and a ton of mobility work. Then I did CrossFit for about 3 years, and I thought, I am strong. I am like so strong. And I'm browsing through Instagram, and I see this guy doing this flagpole on the wall, on the fence, and I'm thinking, I should be able to do that.
And if people don't know what a flagpole is, that's when you hold onto a flagpole or a pole of any sort with your arms, and then lift your body up as if you were the flag in the wind.
Right. And so I go and I try, and I fail miserably. And
you're like, I'm not so strong. I failed my parents. They brought me here.
No, I am a failure. So I'm thinking that, first of all, my outlook on fitness is shattered, right? Because I'm thinking, I was strong for my size. I was getting close to like deadlifting 375 pounds. To me, that's a lot. So I was thinking I'm strong. So I realized that strength is absolute, right? So now I start to focus more on gymnastics. And after gymnastics, I was probably like 28, 27 at the time. So I figured I'm too old for gymnastics. So I'm just going to take a bunch of workshops. I took some capoeira workshops, some gymnastics, some tumbling, and a little bit of just everything that I could. I left CrossFit, which was the hardest thing to do. It was like breaking up with like a 20-year-old relationship.
All right, so we should talk about this now, because
let's do it.
CrossFit has a myriad of feelings, right? There are people who say it's great. There are people who say it's like a cult.
Definitely.
So where did you find, was it a hard breakup because it was like you were leaving a cult?
It was hard to break up because, multiple reasons. When I started the gym, I became really close with the owners. They ended up being my friends, and a lot of the friends that I started with they're pretty much games athletes. So they compete in the games, so they're really good, and they like, I kind of grew into their family and to their cult. But it was hard to tell them, I can't give you the $200 a month that I'm giving you, because now I'm gonna go work out for free at the beach. That was tough to do, Maybe it was just a little tougher for me because I still wanted to be friends, and after that I didn't hang out with anyone from the CrossFit gym anymore.
So for you, it's kind of like a personal relationship issue, not because they particularly were trying to make it difficult for you to leave.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, they definitely didn't make it. It was more of like, you're leaving the camaraderie, you're leaving, just friends behind.
How did you like CrossFit? Because I could see I've looked into it before. I could see a lot of benefits to it, because it's a group of people that work out together and hold each other accountable. And I think that'd be super helpful for a lot of people.
I thought I knew a lot about fitness, but when I went into CrossFit with these coaches, you have to have a good coach. I think really CrossFit, I think, has a bad name because gym members just want to it's all about membership. It's all about getting that number. Whereas the people that I was training with, and there's a lot of gyms that are like this, they teach you the foundation. And so I like CrossFit. I just don't like kipping. Like kipping is when you try to do a pull-up and you like squirm like a worm to get up to the top. Have you seen that before?
I think so. Is that part of the workout routine?
Yes. So in pull-ups, you can probably do like 50 pull-ups in like a minute with kipping pull-ups.
So it's like when you were a kid in school and you had to do the presidential fitness exam, and they're like, do as many pull-ups as you can, and then you got to whatever number, and you're like, I can't do any more if I shake my legs.
Yeah, and you're
maybe
like,
I can get
trying
up.
to get up there, right? Yeah. So, that's the only thing I personally don't agree with. Is it functional? Yes. If I'm getting chased by a dog, I come back to this analogy always.
I imagine you like waking up in the middle of the night sweating because you've dreamed about a dog chasing you yet again. The flashback. It's almost like you were a child soldier having flashbacks to your wartime being chased by dogs.
Oh, that's hilarious, man. I got to think of a new analogy in like the time that
you're being chased by cops because you're spraying graffiti dicks on billboards.
That's awesome. Oh my God. So if that technique is going to work, but doing it in an everyday routine, you eventually end up getting hurt. And look, you can get crazy technical with it, and there's like, I call them internet scientists, and they can tell you about like the rotation of your shoulders as you're going up and all these things. Like that's fine. To me, it can hurt you. It's hurt me in the past, and I'm not willing to do that anymore.
Yeah, that's one of the other complaints I hear about CrossFit is that a lot of people get injured doing CrossFit, and so you did as well at some point.
I definitely, I got a lot of injuries, but the injuries come from you pushing yourself, because everyone's like, yeah, let's go, come on, fire breather, you know.
Fire breather.
Fire breather, yeah. Fire breather is it's just like going beast mode, and I did the air quotes.
We need a sound for that. I'll add in a sound effect there.
Oh, air quotes, sweet. After the whole gymnastics thing, I went into calisthenics and found yoga and acro yoga, and that's when my head exploded.
Appears that you're better.
You know,
your head's back together now.
I love that, man. You're funny, dude. You're awesome. Just yoga, just like one, it's being flexible, like makes me feel like a kid again. I'm 31 years old. I sit
ancient,
back on my day. No, I for the last 12 years, I've been like sitting in a chair like this for 10, 14 plus hours a day sometimes. And that takes a toll on you. It takes a toll on your hip flexors, like your back, your shoulders, your posture, like your spine. So doing yoga really, it helps your outer body, but you don't work out, you work in. There's this whole spiritual side of yoga, which is fine. You can use it to just decompress, and as one of my yoga teachers, Hank, says, focus on the space in between your thoughts. That, when I first heard that, it didn't make sense, but as you do more yoga, you start to realize that, or you start to find space, which it's like you're thoughtless for moments. Like I'm talking 10 seconds, which is an incredible amount of time for me, because it just feels amazing. Me and my girlfriend do the acro yoga. We took this 5-day workshop with the founder of acro yoga, and the things that you learn from it, communication being one, it's not just you. A flyer is the person that gets thrown up in the air, for example, in acro yoga. So you have to completely give up control. And there's a lot of nonverbal cues that you can give, as well as just body tension, just working with the body in different ways. And that really kind of just changed everything.
I imagine one of the things that's particularly rewarding about that is having almost complete control over your body. Because I've seen photos and I've seen you do things where your balance and just your ability to manipulate your body in ways that the average person can't. It's got to be really rewarding to do that, because you feel like you have complete physical control to a certain degree.
That's like a lifetime quest. I don't feel like I have control of my body 100%.
But you're working on it.
This is really corny, but the journey, right? The journey is the reward. It sounds cheesy and stuff, but it really is. You hit these milestones, and you can do all that. You can do this one arm balance, or you can do this handstand, or you can hold a person up in the air. And really, it's not that hard. The basics are bone stacking. You stack your bones in a way where you're not leveraging this way, in a way where you have no power. When you stack everything, you create a line. I'm raising my arm right now. You're creating a line, for example, through the wrist, through the shoulder, through the hip bone, down to the knee, and down the foot onto the ground. So you're solid. And it's just getting in these positions that does make you feel
For a couple of years, maybe 2.5 years while I was in college, I got involved in dance. And so I was doing a lot of partner ballet, modern dance and stuff. And we did a lot of practicing and a lot of performing. By far, that was the best exercise routine I've ever found in my life, and probably the time that I was most fit.
Okay.
And it was a lot of lifting girls and spinning them around and doing different things, and then manipulating your body so you could balance certain ways. And
dancing is tough.
And it's great because you get all this control and all this balance and things that you didn't have before, and that I don't have anymore.
Yeah, but I'm sure that if you start again, some of that muscle memory will come back, and you would say, oh, I remember how I did this, or I remember this, and I think you would be even better now to be honest with you.
I don't know. I don't know if I could get as strong. I'm getting pretty old now.
Come on.
What I do miss and I'd like to be able to do again is I used to be able to, and I have no doubt you can do it, where you'd be seated, say cross-legged, and you place your hands down, and then you lift yourself up into a handstand.
Oh, like a press? Yeah.
Yeah, I used to be able to do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
I think you can, man. Work on it,
man.
man.
I've tried. If I work on it, I think I can get back to it, but I definitely would have to work on it.
Yeah. No, there's different levels to that as well. So when you do it with your arms bent, you use the bigger muscle groups, you use your biceps. When you do stuff straight arm, you use nothing but your core, and like it's just the different levels.
Yeah,
of like,
and that's the way I used to do it. Is keep my arms straight, lift up the legs, and it's the rotation that's
so
the hard
so it was a
part.
press. You're doing a press.
I suppose. So.
Yeah,
I'll take your word for
that's
it.
awesome. Yeah, that's
I can't do
also
them
a journey.
anymore.
But we can get you there. Let's go.
I think I can still do the kid and play dance. I think it was kid and play where you lift up one leg and then you jump through it.
Hey, that requires a lot of mobility. That's good. That requires mobility. That requires accuracy. Like
when we're done with this, I'll give it a try.
All right, let's do it.
And then I'll let people know if I was able to do it. And
Success.
And I'll just say that I did. Whether I did or not.
I would testify for you.
So basically, you tried like just about every type of exercise routine and workout routine. It sounds like. I mean, obviously not every single one, but kind of the larger schools. I mean, you're just saying you tried calisthenics and CrossFit and yoga and acrobatics. So where are you now? Where did you end up?
I dabbled in a lot of stuff just so I know everything and I could take bits and bops from every single thing. Right now, I am strictly stretching. Like I'm doing a lot of stretching. I'm doing a lot of just working on basics. Which is something that I felt really weird about it at first because, I've been moving. I call it moving. I've been moving for about 3 to 4 years now, and for me to go back, it felt counterintuitive. But I'm learning that it's making me better at the things that I was like mediocre at, right? So just focusing on the basics, which is like L-sits or like just working on a lot of wrist flexibility and just all those small little things. So that's what I'm doing now. And again, all this calisthenics stuff that I still do, like calisthenics helps me stay fit for canyons, right? So
because you're also a canyoneer.
Because I am also a canyoneer.
Everyone I have on this podcast has to be a canyoneer, or
right.
at least have tried it.
Hey, that's how we met, right?
Yeah, that is how we met.
It's funny. I was on the way up here. I was listening to the Steve Sarin episode, and that's where we met as well.
Is it? Did I meet you that same
on
canyon?
CCC
that
Canyon?
Same. No, I've never done CCC.
It was White Oak.
Yeah,
White Oak.
that was the day I met you?
That was the day I met you.
No kidding. So I met you the same day we all met Steve Sarin's testicles.
I was belaying him. I don't think now it's getting out. I was belaying him, and it's funny because like I didn't know that it had happened, and so I took a picture and like. I sent it to him. I was like, dude, I have nightmares now.
If people don't know what we're talking about, look back through the archives. It's actually not that far back to the Steve Sarin episode. He's a mutual friend who I guess we all met that same day, and his pants and underwear had gotten ripped open and his testicles were hanging out most of the day in this canyon. Yeah. That's what we're talking about.
It was a breeze.
Man, what is with you? We've been talking about drawing penises, Steve Sarin's testicles. I bring you on the show and all we talk about are genitals, man.
It's not what it appears to be.
Running from dogs and genitals. That's what your life revolves around.
That's awesome. Sweet. I'm gonna make a prophecy out of this. I'm gonna do something with it.
When they combine, you'll be running from genitals. That'll be what
Oh, that's wrong. But yeah, so the canyoneering aspect, you put me in a boulder field. I love boulder fields. Like that exit of what is it, Pine Creek, I think. It's like a really long, like just boulder field, or like, is it Jump? Jump has a long boulder field.
Yeah, it has a big boulder field.
It's just that stuff. It's like I can get down stuff really fast. I'm like really flexible. I can put my leg up there and like do this and just get to like weird places. So that's where I'm at with calisthenics and with like the stretchiness. That's a new one.
Stretchiness. And he moved his head as if he was stretching or something. or dancing. So what does an average week look like for you when it comes to workout, exercise, moving, whatever you want to call it?
So an average week, I wouldn't say it's Monday through Friday. I would say every morning or every other morning, I will wake up, drink some tea, and stretch for about 30 minutes or so, watch TV or listen to a podcast or watch something while I stretch, read. Then I go and I sit for about 8 to 10 hours. Try to get up as much as possible for work.
You should look into a standing desk, man.
We've been trying to start a revolution at work, but the problem is we have an office that's been designed out by this architect.
Oh, it's like
and it's
some sort of okay.
Yeah, it's a designer. So like we to do that, there's more pieces involved. We tried the yoga ball, which is just super uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've tried that before. Yeah, for after about 10 minutes, you're like, give me a chair. I can't.
You went longer than me. I went 5 minutes. I'm like, this sucks. Yeah. So then after I get off of work, if there's still sun, depending on what time it is or what day of the year it is, if it's during the summer, I run to the beach and get a quick little workout in, or I swing on the rings in Santa Monica, or I'll go to a yoga class, or I'll take a acro yoga class, a capoeira movement, or go home and stretch again. Sundays are reserved for going to Santa Monica. On Sundays, if you want to see some of the best acrobatics in almost sometimes even the world, in Santa Monica, there's this spot called The Green. And it's just people just doing acrobatics there. There's a lot of Cirque du Soleil people there. The community is really small, so it's people doing jobs for the San Diego Zoo that are doing this acrobatic show. So it's there. That's what I do on Sundays. And on Saturdays, it's usually a canyoneering trip or hiking with my girlfriend. Now that I have a girlfriend, I just spend a lot of time doing normal people hiking.
When do you run from dogs? Have you eradicated that from your life?
That has been eradicated. I told you there was a change.
You really did change.
I run into the occasional dog here and there, but they're usually little small dogs, so I can.
Yeah, we're in Los Angeles. Yeah. It's rare to see a dog larger than a Chihuahua.
Yeah. Also, huge thing that I do as well. On Wednesdays, sometimes Fridays, Mondays if I'm lucky, I do this thing called November Project. It's a free workout. It's a bunch of people. On Wednesdays, we probably get about close to 180, close to 200. I want to say 200.
Many people?
I want to say 200, but I don't want to put the tribe on the spot. But it's 180. It's 180-ish.
That is still a lot of people showing up to one place to work out together.
The dedication of these people is just amazing. So it's 100% free, no money involved. You come, you work out, you give high fives, you say. Can you cuss on this password? On this?
Dude, we've been talking about penises.
Oh, okay,
and
good.
You say whatever you need to.
Well, so we high fives. I just didn't want to
cuss in whatever language you want. Even.
All right. Yeah. So it's a lot of hugs, high fives, and fuck yes. That's what
Dude,
it is.
I can't believe you just said that on my podcast.
I'm a disgrace to my family. But yeah, so actually, some canyoneers. Chris Abondo has come. Jeff Sue has come. Chris he was dedicated for a really long time. And he actually said that the approaches were easier for him now. So he was like, oh man, I don't get tired on approaches. I'm like, yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Is it only in November or is it just named November Project for some weird reason?
It started in November in Boston because it was cold and it was these two people just trying to stay warm. And little by little, they started growing and now it's all over the place. It's in Canada. There's an Iceland. They're called tribes. It used to be on Wednesdays. Then it's Friday in Santa Monica. Actually, it's not official in Santa Monica, but there's a bunch of little groups kind of break out from there. You can go do a workout for free Monday through Sunday.
And what kind of stuff do you do in the workouts?
Everything. We run a lot. We do burpees, we do push-ups, we do sit-ups, functional stuff, man.
So a lot of stuff that you could even do at home.
Exactly.
Things that if you couldn't get to that or if you don't need necessarily machines or weights or anything to do.
You have the world and the world is your playground.
Do you work out with weights at all?
I do. So I recently just got a gym membership, I guess maybe since 2012, because my girlfriend has a gym membership and we wanted something that we can do together. But I'll go in there and I'll stretch and then I'll do stuff that's going to help my acrobatics, for example. So if I notice that I'm starting to get weak when I pick her up or I can't hold her steady enough, I'll go and I'll do military presses, right? So weights are useful, definitely, but doing 100 reps of bicep curls, it's just going to get me a big biceps, which if you're going for aesthetics and you're going to compete in a show,
you want to slather oil all over your body.
Yeah, I mean, you don't do that anyways?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to tell anybody, but I'm slathering oil all over you right now.
That was me
over
making
here in
oil
Chatsworth Park, just rubbing oil on each
It's
other.
not weird at all. It's not weird at all.
Yeah, we're gonna freak out the little girls doing the cheerleading or whatever.
I know. The cops are coming, right? Time to be functional.
That's right. I know you know how to run away from them.
But yeah, so I do lift weights a little bit, but not to the degree of, okay, it's arm day, so I'm going to go do arms,
Right.
or leg day. Actually, it's always leg day. So I always will train legs, whether it's a little bit or, like, I love doing squats, and that's one of the things that I picked up from CrossFit, or the Olympic weightlifting. Like, I love that. But I don't want to be a professional Olympic weightlifter, or I don't want to compete in the USA Olympics. So I don't go crazy with it. I just do enough for me to stay strong.
So you're not trying to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger in
Well,
his heyday.
not right now. He doesn't look very well.
Well, I said in his heyday.
Oh, in his heyday. I didn't hear that part.
You know, back when he not a tumor.
Yeah.
Back in those days.
Get in the chopper.
Do you perform at all since you're learning all these acrobatics? Are you interested in performing?
No. Like, my end goal is not to be like a celebrity type of a thing. Because, like,
Well, it's a good thing you have sponsors and an Instagram, and you post photos of you with their products and things. It's
Like-
a good
like-
way to keep away from
no,
that.
I think I guess what I meant to say is, like, I don't want to be in a position where I have to do this for money, because when that happens, I feel like I'm not going to enjoy it, and I'm not going to be fulfilled the same, especially with yoga.
Some people say if you love it, don't do it for a living because it'll make you hate it. So
It'll make you hate
maybe
it.
It's like that.
It'll make you kind of build up a sort of resentment towards it because of money, because we want money. We don't need money.
Well,
you
we
know?
need at least a little bit.
we right,
I know what you mean. I'm just giving
yeah,
you a
it's
hard
it's
time.
no, and I'm trying to think of, like, the best yogi words that I have, because there's reality, and then there's like this fantasy land of hey, I want to be a yoga teacher and teach yoga and live off of very little, and sleep on people's couches, and whoa, that guy just made a throw from more than halfway court. Like, he would have won $250,000.
He's talking about basketball.
That's
some kids
sorry,
on
that
the
was
basketball team.
completely random.
That's all right. This happens in this podcast.
Oh, my
Sometimes
God.
squirrels interrupt us. Sometimes
funny.
homeless people interrupt us.
That's-
These things happen. Sometimes impressive basketball shots
Yeah,
interrupt
that
us.
was like the basketball game. They make the shot.
My favorite part is that you're like, let me find my yogi moment, like the best way to explain this. And, oh, wow, look at that. Look over there. You're completely distracted, and you're talking about these deep philosophical things, and then completely distracted by
You know what that proves? That proves that I'm human, and that it's a learning process. I actually lost my train of thought.
So you were trying to explain, well, you were saying you didn't want to do these things for a living. You didn't want to turn it into something you do for money. And then you were trying to explain why.
Oh, yes. I have...
And you said something about sleeping on people's couches.
Yeah, like, I know people who are very, like, they're insane yoga teachers, and they just live a different lifestyle, and I don't know if I want that lifestyle. That's basically what it comes down to.
Because you need your Lexus and your fancy watch.
Are you kidding me? No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I don't have a Lexus. I've never actually owned a new car. I've always bought, like, used cars because I think my money could be used on food. I spend all my money on food.
Let's talk about food. So do you have a restricted diet? Do you have a special diet?
Normally, I don't. I pretty much eat anything because I'm so active. Like, I mean, I'm not like this model fitness guy that is I always work out. I skip a lot of workouts, but I make them up in different ways, right? I make them up by hiking. I make them up by going to the beach. I make up eating bad by working out extra harder. But as of like the last 4 weeks, I've started this transition to a plant-based diet, and I'm trying to make it a 70% plant protein-based diet and a 30% meat. I love meat. I love cheese. I love beans and all that stuff. But I really don't. But now, like I'm telling you, I'm trying to focus on eating more plants, like religiously eating more plants.
That is going to be really hard, seeing as you come from a Mexican family.
It is, but my mom and my dad I've sort of rubbed off on them. And I have my dad sending me like these articles. Have you heard about this new supplement that comes from he's going to make fun of me for that. Or he's going to like hate it that I'm making fun of him. But he's always like I always tell him, oh, did you get this new bird poop pill from the high hills of the Brazilian Amazon jungle? I always make fun of him for that. But
until he shows up one day and he's like twice as
like
fit
super
and kicks your ass.
Yeah, no, like my dad's pretty fit. He doesn't move as much. He works really hard, but you know, they eat really healthy. They eat healthy. They eat a lot of veggies, and they cook a lot of veggies, and yeah, it's not as hard as one would think, but
No, that's good. That
Yeah.
I mean, I can tell you, having a Mexican girlfriend, that when the families get together, it's
Oh,
always
yeah.
carne asada,
Tamales.
tamales. Yeah. So I mean, so if your Mexican family has decided to be healthier,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I still have tamales left over from the New Year's that my mom gave me. She gave me like this big bag, and she's like, "Here you go." Like, she doesn't want them. She just
Right.
makes them for everyone.
Yeah, it's like Erica's mom.
Yeah.
She'll make like 200 tamales for Christmas or
Ooh,
something.
yeah.
And you've got them for like the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. The worst part is that you can freeze them, and you can just steam them whenever you're ready, and they last forever. But
I mean, I don't know if they last forever.
oh, not forever. Oh,
not
a very
Twinkies,
long time.
Which
very
also
long time.
don't last forever,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah.
I just dispelled that rumor that Twinkies last forever.
Dun, dun, dun. This is it right here. You guys have to download and listen to this podcast to get the
The
truth.
truth about Twinkies has come out, finally. Plus, I don't mean, can you even get Twinkies anymore? I think they relaunched as like
Yeah, didn't
not the
they
same
go out of?
Twinkies.
Didn't they close a factory or something?
something like that. I don't know. Clearly, neither of us eat Twinkies enough to know
They
what's
ran
going
out
on.
of yellow number 5. That's what happened.
What are we going to do when we run out of yellow number 5?
You know?
Everything's going to fall apart.
Bananas are already starting to be extinct. Well, didn't you? I was reading this article that bananas they no longer have seeds because they've been genetically
right,
modified so much that they don't have seeds. There are still some species of it, but the one most popular species is like starting to kind of die off. I love bananas. I eat,
Let's
like,
stop eating them. We need to keep them. We're running out, apparently. Save some
I'm
for the rest of us.
I'm the cause
Yeah,
of
it's
the
all your
bananas.
fault. Banana famine.
Yeah, that's like the gist of nutrition. I mean, plants. Actually, if I can summarize it a little bit better, and not in a conversation, is not eat processed, not eat refined sugars, and just natural. If you go to a grocery store, don't shop on the insides. Shop on the outsides. Buy stuff that's perishable. Some people think that it's more expensive to buy organic. It's usually like 50 cents, 75 cents sometimes. That's basically like what I try to do. But I'll have Jack in the Box once in a while, or In and Out.
Well, I think Jack in the Box is pretty organic, right?
It's the top tier of just pure.
Yeah, go to Taco
Meat.
Bell. Get your organic, non-processed foods from Taco
Yeah.
Bell and Jack in the Box.
Yeah, they have the
and-
best ingredients.
Yeah. Are they one of your sponsors? Jack in the Box?
They
take
approach
photos?
me. They approach me. And they want me really bad, and I'm hoping I'm worthy.
So how did you start getting approached? Was it because you had an active Instagram account?
Yeah, it
Post
was
pictures of you showing
mostly my Instagram. That's just it. Also opened up like a lot of doors in terms of like just meeting people and learning a lot of things. The majority of the circles that I have in like the acro yoga, the calisthenics, the canyoneering, a little bit of the hiking, and just photography as well. It's like through Instagram, just meeting people and just kind of building different communities and just going with the flow.
So if somebody was listening to this and they're a big fat ass and they don't want to be anymore, and they want to be functional, they don't want to just look like Schwarzenegger, what steps do you think they should take?
Steps would be go for a walk.
So that's the first step.
Go for a walk, move, basically move. Go to the beach, go on a walk on the sand if you're feeling kind of risky. If you want to take some risks.
Wild.
Yeah, if you're feeling wild. No, really, like start with the most easiest thing, and I would say start now. People tend to want to, I'm going to start next week. Start now.
Right.
Do something small now, because the compounding effect that is gonna take on your life is just gonna be huge. But then after that, just go play. Really, really play.
That's a good point, because you were saying start now, because that's what we all do, right? We're like, next week I'm going to do this, and then the next week you have an excuse for why you're going to do it the next week. So at some point you had to get around that. Do you have any tips or any ways that because it's very easy to procrastinate, be like, I'll work out tomorrow.
Yeah.
But clearly you have to, you said you skip sometimes,
Yeah.
but clearly you skip fewer times than you actually show up.
I personally like to go on like what I call missions. So I like to drive my car. I don't go straight to the beach. I go maybe like 4 blocks away from the beach. I get on my longboard and I just skate. I go down hills going towards Santa Monica, and that's usually, so I'll skate or I'll run. I'll combine it, or I'll go have some coffee, or I'll go I'll just go do something. I'll combine it with another activity, and then I'm doing more than one thing. It takes it away from it being like, oh, I got to go work out and I got to go do this number of reps. Like I don't do like, oh, here's 10 and then here's 10 and then here's 10 of this, 10 of that. I just go and I just play. I think just have fun in that convoluted mess.
So if you're a fat ass on the couch, just have fun and you won't be a fat ass anymore.
Just really, because you'll end up liking the things that you do because you're gonna implement the things that you kind of, like. So.
Yeah, I mean, I like the way you talk about exercise because like I'm one of those people. I have a gym membership. I have for a long time. I rarely consider going to the gym enjoyable. It's like a necessary component of life so that I feel better when I'm not at the gym. My body's more useful elsewhere.
I was at the gym this morning, and it felt like a prison.
It kind of feels that way.
Like, you think about it. Everyone goes to this box to be fit, but there's a beautiful beach.
Right.
My area, for example, or wherever you're at, it's just outside. It's nature.
Right.
It's the sun.
There may be woods or mountains or rivers or something nearby that you can
go
use.
for a walk. Go for a walk in the mountains, like things like that.
It's kind of funny as humans, we find a way to take everything that either we enjoy or is good for us and figure out a way to do it inside.
That's so trippy. Why would you pay someone? I mean, I'm paying the people. I'm paying, this X gym that I'm not going to mention, but they don't need endorsements from you.
They don't sponsor you on Instagram.
They don't sponsor Go Outside Podcast. No, I mean, we take it and they benefit. They profit from you not going to the gym. They profit from people thinking that they're going to be better, but they're not because they end up not going, and that's where their profits are. If, let's say, one of these popular gyms that are in LA all over the place, let's say they have, I don't know, 200 members signed up. I don't know, that's just the number I'm throwing out there.
I'm sure it's a lot more for the average gym, probably a lot more.
Can we say 500?
I don't know, we don't. 8 million.
If all those people came to the gym in one day, it would be havoc.
Right.
So they benefit from you not going to the gym and just giving them your money, your $20.
And I'm lucky because since I mostly work from home or in a situation where I can control my hours to a certain degree, I can go to the gym during the day or in the morning or something instead of, because a lot of times if I haven't made it to the gym by say 4 o'clock, then I don't go that day because of that exact reason.
Yeah. It does get packed. But you can stretch at home. You can stretch your hip flexors.
I do sometimes do some stuff at home.
There you go.
Too, but
there you go. Yeah, I'm actually starting a fitness thing for my work, like keeping your wrist, healthy and keeping like your posture and all these little tiny things.
Do you set up exercise routines or anything? Like, do you have a website or anything like that?
I don't have a website. I don't have an official website that I can give. I just have like this blog that's like super long, but I just have my Instagram.
So this blog that you're not giving that's super long, what kind of stuff do you write about on there? Do you write about fitness stuff or just any general thing you want to talk about?
So I write about, I do trip reports just for the big canyon trips that I take. I did like Poe, like it was a big one because it used a lot of like my calisthenics and things like that.
Yeah, let's talk about that one because Poe is a really difficult, I've never done it, but I'm aware that it's like one of the more difficult kind of technical canyons. Just out of interest, because it seems like everyone I know who's just done it has gone with you.
Yeah.
And they're like, Francisco's the secret weapon.
No.
He can get the pot shots across.
No way.
So explain to people what kind of challenges this canyon has that you don't find in the average canyon.
Okay, so just to clear things up, I am not the secret weapon. There are
a lot of people who say otherwise.
It is absolutely a team sport. There's so many aspects to that I was just a passenger and everyone else, like navigation, huge. Bronick and Angela took lead on that. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
So you're good at getting to the beach because you can see it.
Because it's
there's water. That's the right way to go.
Yeah, no, it's really difficult. Plus at night, it's a whole nother beast. Again, this canyon, it's a huge canyon. It's massive, and like everyone that goes has to have a job. My job was to throw the pot shots over this. You have to
explain what pot shots are.
Okay, so
exactly what you're doing.
The section of this canyon there's two sections that are the crux. It's the Pit of Despair and the Warhole. The Pit of Despair, you get to this sort of V slot, and there's this huge pothole. The pothole is just basically a hole, and it goes, I think it's about 50 feet deep. It's just super deep.
And the problem is if you descended down into that hole, you wouldn't necessarily be able to get back out. So you have to get across it without going down into it.
Yep. So the walls are really smooth because it's sandstone. And so what you have to do is you have to climb up about 12 to 14 feet with your legs straddled across on both sides of the wall. The wall's uneven, so it's really hard. And a pot shot is basically a bag of sand, and you have to toss this bag about 50 feet into a constriction. So it's a small little tiny hole, and you have to toss about 5 or 6 bags, depending on how deep, how heavy the person that's climbing out of there is. And so that was my job. Bronick tossed about 2 or something, and I tossed the rest of them. We threw 7 over, I think. And then you have to rappel in there into the hole, and you have 6 or 7, however many ropes you have, and you have to climb out of them either hand over hand or with the prusik.
And prussik's just basically a piece of cord tied into a particular type of bend, which is kind of like a knot that wraps around the rope that puts tension on it so that you can hang on that. But then when you push it up, if you're not weighting it, you can free slide it up the rope.
Yeah, so it's a releasable bend. And so that's the hard part of the canyon. That's one of the hard parts.
You've done this canyon twice, right?
I did it twice, yeah. We did it in pretty much hard mode, which was the first time. And the second time, we did it in easy mode, which there was so much water, we just swam across the pothole.
Yeah, and the difference is hard mode, right? There's very little water, so you have to do these pothole escapes. And then in easy mode, like you said, there's lots of water, so you can just swim across, and it's no big deal.
Yep. And I think it took us about 7 hours or something, 5 or 7 hours in easy mode, which was ridiculous. I mean, but it was beautiful because we got to finish the canyon during the day, and we saw the last rappel, which was amazing. Yeah, it's a grueling. If you the way we did it the first time, we hiked across the desert for about 8 or 9 miles, and then you hiked this cliff. This is huge. It looks like Mordor, this massive cliff. And then from there, you have a few hours till base camp, and then you sleep, and then you do the canyon, 14-ish hours. You come out, you sleep, you hike back up the hill, back up the cliff, and you hike another 8 or 9 hours back.
So it's pretty far removed then. And don't you guys tend to do it in a weekend and like drive there, hurry up and do it, and then drive back half asleep afterwards?
That right there, that's what made it even worse. Because we did it, it was literally nonstop work, you know? There was no time to, take my shoes off and like relax before we go to sleep. It was like, get back to base camp, eat, scarf down this mountain house as quick as possible, and then go to sleep and wake up in like 6 hours. And, on to the next thing.
So some people would say that doesn't sound like fun, so why would you want to do that?
I thought it was fun. It was a mission. It tested me. Getting to the end of the canyon, like my feet were hurting. I was out of water. Like it was a horrible feeling, but it was a great feeling at the same time because I knew I grew. I solved problems in my head. I got over things. And, I guess it's like I'm crazy.
No, I mean, I agree because a lot of those kinds of self-growth kind of trips are the most rewarding. The ones where you were miserable half the time and then you realize, like, oh, wow, I really figured out a lot of things. I really learned a bunch of things. And it's more rewarding than, sometimes it's more rewarding than just showing up and like, oh, wow, we had such a good, fun time the whole weekend. Right.
You also get better at what not to do. You get better at, I'm not going to bring like this extra thing, or I'm going to bring, more high calorie dense food, Now I bring what is that? Salami into the canyons.
Dude, salami is a secret weapon.
Oh my God, it's so good.
The first time I ever hiked down the Narrows in Zion from the top, which is like a 16-mile thing.
Yeah.
You do it. A lot of people do it in 2 days.
Yeah.
First time I ever did that, it was me, my girlfriend Erica, and 2 other people. Leading into the second half of the second day, everybody was starting to get worn out, and Erica was just tired as hell.
Yeah.
We were getting close to Orderville, which you've done before, right? So you're still like couple hours or so from the
Sure.
exit. And we had never done it before, so we weren't really sure how far away. One of the people in our group had some leftover salami in his pack,
Oh,
and so
my
we
God.
busted it out. Everybody ate salami. And that was like the secret. Everybody then had the energy to get through, and we were hiking the rest of the way,
Yeah.
and we would scream, "Salami power!" And it would just like echo across the
That's
wall.
yeah, you had a little pick-me-up.
Yeah, that salami makes a difference, man.
You know, that's awesome. It's also the
Maybe you'll get a salami sponsor out of this.
you know, functional fitness freak. You know, looking for that.
Looking for salami sponsors.
That would be hilarious. But maybe we could make it work. The group dynamic, the community, like you know, it's a joke and everything. Like salami power, like it's obviously it's a joke, but like
But it's kind of half true too.
right,
Yeah.
like tell me that didn't help you like more like inside it gave you like a little bit of like hope. Okay, we're all like happy, and it's all about like that mental state of like being happy.
Yeah, it like it accomplished a number of things. So it actually gave us calories.
Definitely.
There's some protein and salts and stuff in there. So there's actually some physical, chemical process. But then, yeah, exactly what you're talking about is the whole mental aspect of, oh, now there's this thing we can joke about.
Yep.
And psychologically we can believe it's making us more capable,
Yeah.
whether it is or not,
We're stronger than we think we are.
if there's salami.
If there's salami,
It's like
of course.
spinach for Popeye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same difference. I
Yeah,
don't see what the big
and
deal is.
Man, and this salami had been sitting in the pack. I mean, you get submerged in water constantly there. You're hiking through a river a lot. So he just opens a pocket and it's just floating
It's just swimming
in
in
the water.
Oh my god.
But nobody cared
Yeah.
because
No.
it did exactly what we wanted it to do.
Yeah. No. I would have probably done the same thing, man.
Functional fitness freak. What do you think you have in the future?
I want to teach. Like, I don't want to have a class. I don't want to have a class where I teach people about movement. I want to take people that are interested in growing their life from patterns, from movement patterns, like how you move. Basically, people that are in my situation where they work all the time and they say they don't have time. You have time. Like let me just show you how. I also want to bring it into the outdoor community. You know, how can
You're sick of people lagging on the approach hikes. You're ready for them to catch up to you.
how can I be faster in the approach? You know, I just that's like the direction that I want to head in. I'm doing it just for fun. Like I'll train people. Some of my friends will come out. They'll meet me at the beach, and we'll just work out. We'll just do stuff. We'll just hang on stuff. I'll show them how to do some cool tricks, party tricks. Oh, this is how you balance like this, and we'll work on it. And if they get hooked on it, they get hooked on it. But that's sort of the direction right now. It's not really a concrete. I don't have a business plan or anything like that because that's not what I'm after.
Can you pass me your mission statement
Yeah,
so
the
I can
mission
read it into the mic?
I just want to make sure it's
And
valid.
maybe let me check your business loan application and make sure I approve of what it says.
Yeah, none of that. None of that. It's all just for fun, really.
Do you think you'll post like exercise routines or anything like that online, or you'd rather do everything face to face?
I think I would if there's a demand for it, like if people ask me for it.
After this podcast, dude,
Absolutely.
everybody's
You know,
just
it's
start
gonna blow
emailing
up. I'm just gonna.
you. After that salami sponsorship, everybody's gonna
It's
be
coming down.
happy.
Hey man, that'd be great. You've given me a good idea. I'm gonna have to actually talk to their.
Hickory Farms.
I
Do
know.
you want to sponsor Functional Fitness Freak?
No, but seriously, like think about like a. I'm not even gonna ask what salami's made of, but you know, think of like some sort of organic or some sort of sustainable type of like meat.
Well, I can
Bam.
tell you when I was at the Outdoor Retailer Show in Salt Lake City last summer, that was kind of a big thing. Not necessarily salami, but a lot of like healthier jerkies and meat products
Oh yeah,
that you could carry with you that you don't have to prepare or anything.
yeah.
So there are a lot of companies out there looking into exactly those kinds of things and developing that.
Like they're open. The only thing is, my girlfriend is she's vegetarian, vegan/vegan. So that's another reason why I'm trying to do more protein based because more plant protein because it's when we go out to eat it's really difficult. No, but you know it.
She won't kiss you if you've got like a piece of meat stuck between your teeth or something.
No, she still. She'll have chicken once in a while. She just doesn't. She just does it for like health reasons for herself. Yeah, it makes it easier because like we can now like cook veggies.
Cook veggies.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to leave this on. If people want to keep up with what you're doing, we know you got that Instagram page. Is that the place to go?
That's the place to go. It's Functional Fitness Freak
And everything's spelled properly?
English.
Well, sometimes people they'll leave out the A and functional or
FUNKZ.
Right, yeah, there might be
functional.
a number 8 in there somewhere.
No, it's just straight functional fitness freak. It's very long, but you type in just functional fitness freak and I come up. In there, I post a lot of links to the November Project stuff, and I just invite people, whoever wants to come out.
So if anybody wants to get in shape, go to his Instagram page and just do whatever you see him do each day.
Maybe not everything, but yeah, I'll throw some stuff up there that could help people do some basic moves and stuff.
Anything else that you just want to share with the public that you haven't had the chance to share with them? Now's your opportunity before we wrap this up.
I think I covered everything. I covered a little bit more than I should have about my childhood, my criminal path. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a criminal.
Oh, man, I just looked over and there was... For a second, I thought there was a K9 unit out here, but it was just a guy walking.
They're all like, we heard there's a report of somebody rubbing oil on someone else.
We finally caught that graffiti artist
I know, right?
20 years ago.
Just move more. Just move.
All right, move more. And that's where we'll wrap it up.
All right, awesome.
All right, now the K9 unit's here to arrest you. Let's get out of here.
Thanks for having me, dude. I really
thanks for
appreciate
coming to do it, dude.
Really
Especially since you had to drive through all that traffic. For those of you still wondering, yes, I can still do that kid and play move. I can still do the thing where I hold one leg and jump through it with the other leg. So if I don't have any other life skills, I at least still have that one. Returning listeners know what to do now. It's time to go check out the show notes. Head over to gogetoutside.com/podcast. Take a look at this episode 25 with Francisco. Lots of really cool photos of him doing things that most of us probably can't do. Also links to his Instagram page, to functionalfitnessfreak.com, and to November Project, which he mentioned earlier in the show. And while you're there taking a look at the show notes, since you're already going to be on a computer machine, a phone machine, or some sort of machine that accesses the internet, you may as well get in touch with the show. Send us a message, go@butcherbirdstudios.com, or give us a call. 818-925-0106. You can leave us a voicemail message there, 3 minutes in length or less. And then after that, why don't you run on over to iTunes, Stitcher, however you consume this consumable podcast. Leave us a review, subscribe to the show, rate the show, and I hope you'll come back April 1st, April Fool's Day, for our next episode, the very first two-person interview episode. Next time we're going to have Fresh Off the Grid. That is Megan McDuffie and Michael Van Vliet. They are two people traveling together across the U.S. and Canada in a small passenger vehicle, living out of that vehicle, and sharing all sorts of cool road and backcountry recipes along the way with people who visit their website. So come back 2 weeks, April 1st, Fresh Off the Grid. See you then.